Hello everybody, Anna Sabramowitz here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Friday, woo! How do these weeks go by so fast? Man, it's awesome, right? Okay, so today's case study, it's gonna be a fast one. However, it's a totally cool new one. You're not even expecting this one. It's totally off the chain, right? It's gonna be great. So basically this interactive story is from one of our members, Dawn. It's gonna be, one of the things that's really cool is, okay, sorry, let me just give you the title. I'm just so excited. So the case study is about people who are coming out to their parents about their religious beliefs, right? And you're like, whoa, that sounds so weird. It's not corporate. It's totally awesome. Wait till I tell you, because it is about changing beliefs, all right? So I'm really excited. And let me just bring up my stream so I can see you guys here. But one of the things I wanted to really bring up, you know, when I'm working through these case studies, is the fact that storytelling is a universal thing. And if you have the right context, you can make a story about any freaking thing that you need to help people overcome limiting beliefs about. Isn't that dope? It's dope. Are you guys excited? Now, if you're excited and this sounds interesting, you'd better tell me in the comments, all right? So let's talk about this. So the other thing that's pretty cool is that, you know, I've been talking to you about case studies for the past week or so, if not longer. But one of the things that you know, it's a challenge is some of those, you know, case studies you'll never see unless you're actually in our membership program, because they're going to be hosted on internal, you know, learning management systems, and they're going to be behind, you know, behind the walls of that organization, right? So that's kind of a shame, but if you're part of the process where people are crafting their own stories, then it's not a big issue. But there are definitely several interactive stories that are public, that are coming out in the next couple of weeks, that are going to be from our students who are wanting these to be public because they are used to either draw people into a certain program, so people from the outside. And for Don, in this case, Don's a coach, right? And he helps people, he helps them work through some situations. And one of the things that he wanted to do is craft an interactive story to not only help people already get the skills and solve a problem, but if they want more information and more help from him, this would be a way for him to be able to basically introduce them to his philosophy and then get them to reach out. Super cool, right? Anyways, so let's talk about this awesome case study. All right, so the case study is coming out to your family about religious beliefs. Awesome, right? So some of the beliefs, and this is his target audience. It's really, this is through years of coaching and counseling. These are some of the things that he's experienced. He has plans for more and more and more, right? So he's a coach. He's his own subject matter expert, and also he has a lot of experience from actually counseling clients. So a lot of beliefs are around this topic. It might be different for you, but just keep an open mind. And the reason I want you to hear about this one is not because whether you're religious or not, doesn't matter. What I want you to think about is, okay, what business am I in, right? The business you're in, if you're probably watching this, is learning and development. And learning is something we got to persuade people and get excited about, right? We got to raise their motivations. So one of the things we're always trying to do with interactive stories is to change people's beliefs about themselves so that they can see the world a little bit differently and maybe be open to the things that we're sharing with them, a different way of doing things, a different way of seeing the world, maybe a different perspective, maybe give them some ahas, help them recognize some gaps, right? And so that's what all these case studies are about, is to help you see how you can use this strategy to contextualize this for you, okay? Now, if you're finding this helpful, or if you want to learn more about this kind of process, go to elearningsecrets.com, and there you will see basically me walk through my process and way more case studies. We are starting the program again, the uptake, at the end of this month. And if interactive storytelling is something you want to get really good at, or you want to see how to craft one of these for yourself, just like Dawn did, then put interested in the comments and I'll reach out to you. All right? So beliefs. These are the beliefs that these people had, right? They believe that if you're coming out to your parents about let's say your religion, whether you agree with it or not, right? It's one big moment. It's like this big, oh, I gotta build myself up. And that's what they believe. They're like, okay, I gotta build myself up. It's gonna be this epic thing, right? And if you go on forums on Reddit, it's a horrible thing, right? And basically the belief is, after seeing all these like also experiences from other people, they believe that it's all or nothing. It's like, I gotta give one thing up or another. I can't have both. And that's why the one big moment, it's like, basically, I'm going to get disowned, right? How do I do this without that? And a lot of people believe that there's no other way to do it, right? That no one will understand them. Nobody will see their perspective. And there's this other belief. This one's kind of painful, right? Is that sometimes you have to do things because you owe people to do things, right? So in this case, the main character in Dawn's story, there's this huge battle between her and even her siblings, about things that she owes her parents and what are those responsibilities. And then that comes into clash with responsibilities towards herself and her life and how she solves that, right? So that's what Dawn really wanted to do, is to tackle all of these things, right? Tackle these beliefs, and then help them see maybe a potential through this character's struggle, through this character's journey and her decisions. And one of the key things here is seeing the outcomes for these decisions, because the outcomes immediately, they might be kind of different or not what you anticipate or unpleasant. But then what happens, 5 years from now? What happens later, right? What happens when you stand your ground? What happens when you stand your ground the right way? So here's some of the goals for his interactive story, which he's launching live, and you guys all get to see it. So when it goes live, I'm just gonna, share it, so you guys can see this amazing piece. So the goal, how to communicate truthfully, right? But not in a way that hurts people, or there's strategic ways to do this, right? So Dawn, this is part of his methodology. How do you do that effectively? There's better ways than others, right? There's still ways to speak your truth without really having people shut down. How do you communicate with empathy without giving up your power and truth? So without, pandering, how do you do that? That's what he wanted to show people, that there's better alternatives. And also, how do you negotiate for yourself without ultimatums or feeling like that's the only solution? Like, it's this way and this is what I believe, and therefore, all other options are off the table, okay? So this is the goal of the interactive story. And isn't that fun? Like, one of the things that happens is that this could lead, when you think about it, interactive stories are meant to change beliefs. And so I've always been talking about, so far I've been focusing about, people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or there's training out there that's going to help them, but they can't see it because they're stuck in a certain way, right? They're stuck feeling a certain way, or they have beliefs about how things should do, or they're seeing what's happened to their friends or whatever, colleagues, and now they're seeing a confirmation bias about how the world is going to work for them. And so one of the things that he's doing is he's saying, okay, yeah, this is the reality, but let's look at it through somebody's lens who's challenging that reality a little bit, or who's struggling, who's making decisions for the reasons that you believe are the right reasons. What happens as a result of that? So what's the result of saying yes to things that you feel like you should be saying no to? What's the result? What's the cumulative effect of you sacrificing your own truth for somebody else's, right? What are those decisions? And so that's, I think, to me, that's just so exciting, because it's not, the storytelling medium is not for, nobody owns it, right? Nobody really owns it. And one of the cool things is that you can leverage interactive stories to actually have a gamut of purposes. So, because we have other members in our community. And what they're doing is they're publishing, and they're going to be coming. Wait till you guys see this stuff. It's just dope. But what they're doing is they're actually there, like a broken coworker, to help people see a different way, experience it, solve a problem for that person right away, right? As far as getting them to see a different perspective, like that, to me, creating that curiosity and seeing that there's a better way out there, creating that curiosity is half the battle, right? Of 90% of it. So if your interactive story can do that, you've already helped people. And then the next step is, hey, can I show them something that's the next step that'll help them get closer to where they want to be in the world? So I thought I'd leave you with Friday with this cool inspirational one. It wasn't really about, corporate procedures or anything like that. It's really about communicating assertively and being your own person and still, loving your family and all that other stuff, which is just a different perspective. And I think we kind of needed a little bit of a shift on a Friday to set us off into the weekend so you can see some possibilities out there. So I hope you enjoyed that. By the way, thanks so much for being here and hanging out with me. Next week, guess what? We're going to do more of the same, featuring more student stories, more exciting ways that you can use interactive storytelling to persuade your audience, whoever that is, as you can tell, whoever that is, to move them into a different state of thinking, a different way of believing about the world themselves. That's the biggest thing. What do they believe about themselves? And that's what we're trying to tackle. So if you want to get more deeper into this because you're like, oh, Anna, I got to learn more. I got to see how this is working. What I want you to do is go to elearningsecrets.com. Also, at the end of this month, we're going to be starting enrollment. So if you want to book a session with me to see if this is something that I can be working with you on, so you can be one of my next case studies, that would be fantastic. Then just put interested in the comments and I'll be sure to reach out to you. All right, so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you next time, friends. Take care. Bye.